Yo, I'm Toycat, and I feel like 1.21 was made for my world. Things like this pack.png window are so perfect for giving a window to a cave house. There's not actually something real behind there, that's just the pack.png image, but also I love things like the ability to create impossible blocks. This lantern should be falling, and this sand should be too, but they're perfectly keeping each other held up. How does this work? Well, actually, I can explain this one easily. If you just use some blocks with some sculpt vein below it, you can actually put some sand above that sculpt vein, place the lantern below that, and then remove all of the blocks you had before to make this perfectly impossible block. This is one of the many things I've enjoyed about this update, and one of the many things that I want to get done today as part of 1.21izing my world, but that's just one of my 5 objectives that I want to get through, because I need to make sure that I update my collection of every enchanted tool. I want to make sure that I gather every block like I've done before, and so here are the 5 things I'm going to be doing today, and hopefully you enjoy me doing these, because this is my Update Adventures Let's Play. And we'll start with what seems like the easiest item on the list, because everyone already wants a fully enchanted set of gear anyway, right? Except when I say that, I don't just mean tools and armor, I mean every single thing that is enchantable should be, and so my enchanted flint and steel is nice, but so too is my enchanted brush, enchanted warp fungus on a stick, and even enchanted shield that I never use because it's a worst hope when dying. But now that I have all of these things, you might think that I've already achieved this, except now we have the mace we've got to enchant. I've been looking forward to throwing this into an enchantment table for so long, and so when I finally get density 4, it's a bit of a bummer. It's 1 enchantment, and it's not even the best level of it, and so I throw it into my grindstone, I disenchant it, and then I try to enchant it again, but it's not a lot better. On the 3rd time, I get density and fire aspect, which I decide is good enough. If I'm going to work towards a maxed out mace, this is a good enough base. And why is that? So there are 9 separate enchantments that you can put on your mace in Minecraft, but fun fact, you can't actually put all of them on at the same time, because 4 of them are mutually exclusive. That means you can't have Smite and Bane of Arthropods, not that you'd ever want Bane of Arthropods on a mace, to be honest, and also you can't have Density and Breach, and those 2 sets of enchantments also don't work with each other. So basically, for the mace, which specializes in big full attacks, I think Density is the logical one of those 4 to go with, and then you probably don't want a curse, and so the max enchantment system means you just need these 2 enchantments plus Mending, Unbreaking, and then Windburst. Windburst is a fun kettle of fish we'll have to come back to later in this video, but for now, let's just say that I only really need Mending and Unbreaking and then Density 4, and Mending and Unbreaking are easy to get, since although they're both like Windburst in that you can't just enchant it directly onto your mace, they are not like Windburst in that you have to find it in one particular place. Instead, you could use a fishing rod and fish repeatedly for them, you could enchant a book and hope for the very best for Unbreaking at the very least, or you could do what the 99% of the Minecraft player base does, which is have a villager that you trade with. I am very inconvenient in that one of my villagers for Mending is all the way over here, and one of my other villagers for Unbreaking is, well, in the end. I really had to go all the way out just to get that done, but now I've got both of these enchantments and I can put them on my mace. And now I'm missing just 2 things to have this be fully enchanted. One is Windburst, which is both incredibly rare, a bugged amount of rare right now, I've got plans for that in the future, but also very, very dangerous in its current iteration, to the point where I don't think anyone would want it on their main mace, maybe on another one, but I am one of those people, and so instead, I just want to max out the Density enchantment, and you could easily do this by just taking 2 Density 4 maces and combining them together, but it will cost you that 2nd mace, and I'm just too stingy with my heavy cores, so I'm instead going to go for the slightly harder solution of finding a Density 4 book. This is a rare drop from an Ominous Trial vault, but I have not managed to find one yet, and so instead I'm going to enchant books myself, and I've got roughly a 5% chance or so of a given enchanted book having density, and given I've got so many levels, I'm sure this will go well for me, except here I am with a lot of books and only 28 levels, and no Density 4 just yet. This might seem like a problem, but actually I was about to go fight a bunch of trials anyway, and so I did precisely that. Okay, one of the most underrated parts of the Tricky Trials update is just how much natural experience you get while fighting them. It's a type of survival exploration that actually comes with some real bonuses, especially if you have mending tools, but even if you don't, having a lot of levels is cool, because here is my opportunity now to bring my books right back out, to bring my lapis right back out, and if I'm not mistaken, I have 8 new opportunities to get this Breach book. I actually went ahead and looked up the odds at this point because I was curious exactly how it would work, and apparently every enchantment has a weight, and here is the full list of them, and so one of the 2nd tier enchantments is obviously getting my density at 5, whereas Breach is much lower at 2, so getting density on my mace is possible, but I would say with only 8 enchantments, it is unlikely, so we're gonna have to really believe in ourselves here. That's projectile and protection. That's not going to be what I want, unless... No, it's not. Try number 2. Sharpness free, but maybe also... Nope, no density on that one. Try number 3. Protection free, but also density free. So close. So if I get one more of these books, we'll be there anyway, so we can kind of just hope for the best. Are we going to get a second density free? Because if we don't, we won't have a fully maxed out mace. And it's looking more and more likely that that's how it's going to go. Feather Falling 4. That feels like a perfect mix for density. You know, perfect enchantment for your feet and perfect enchantment for the opposite of your feet. But no, not happening today. Depth Strider 2. Breach 2. How did I get Breach before I got density on the level I wanted? I don't know. All I know is I think we have one opportunity left at this point. Multi-shot 1, but also... No, loyalty free. Okay, we did our very, very best. But now we have the ability to, in theory, get a Mace enchanted to level 7. Okay, I'm putting away my enchantments now, and I'm probably conceding that getting density on a book is not going to be a overnight thing, and that I might need to be farming experience for quite some time, which is handy because the Tricky Trials update has me doing precisely that. As you can probably tell from the number of keys I've started collecting, ready for the next update where they hopefully fix the vault odds, I am ready to do precisely that, and I guess my Density 5 mace is going to have to wait. I'm so close to having a perfect mace, and so I could say that I have a fully enchanted set, and that's correct in that I have an enchanted piece of each gear, but it's not quite fully enchanted yet, which is also true of my axe. This only has Sharpness 4 on, something I guess I could fix instead. So I'm going to make a very expensive Sharpness 4 book, and then I'm going to throw my axe in there, and now the next time I'm in a Trial Chambers, I'll be able to have a slightly better weapon for dealing with the breezes, because right now I've got the perfect weapon for skeletons and zombies, but there are a few other mobs that don't come under that, so having this axe is actually going to be useful, and eventually having this mace will be... who am I kidding? Like, Density 4 is most of the benefits of Density 5, but this is going to be my boss killer, and this is going to be my most of the time killer, but this will be my Trial Chambers breeze killer, and so it's nice to have a collection here, isn't it? So I was going to immediately head to do the next item on my list, but I realized there's one more thing I should do before leaving my enchantment room behind, and that is obviously to admit there's going to be a new mace section. I actually set up the chest over here, which is going to have diamond swords separate to my maces, but I don't have any way of knowing that this is my mace chest, like I do with literally everything else, and so what I need to do is I need to go ahead and grab a heavy core, as well as maybe one of these breeze rods, and then I need to combine these together, make me a mace, and put that up there. That should hopefully make it clear that these are my mace enchantments that I can put on whenever I want. I could probably go a step further, and let's be honest, let's go a step further and throw the heavy core on top of it too. Which is mostly just a flex at this point, but what is Minecraft if you're not willing to flex on yourself in a single-player world? Speaking of flexing myself in a single-player world, the second item on this list is one of my favorite videos that I would usually make after any given update came out. I love to collect every single block in Minecraft because this is a game about moving blocks around, so if you have every single block, you can basically say you've completed it, but 1.21 is, even though it's got the... Okay. Don't know what just happened to me there. I got hit by a phantom and then made a poor decision. But 1.21 might have some of the largest number of new blocks of any update, but they're also some of the easiest to obtain. Unlike the Never update, which requires you to go to lots of different biomes and craft lots of different things, or like 1.17, which really was a decent amount of variety too, 1.21 has a lot of new blocks, but there's a catch. All you have to do to experience 99% of the blocks in this update is throw a piece of tuff into the stonecutter. Wow, that's already 11 of the blocks we can make right there. Throw a wax block of copper in there, and you can see we can make even more. And then for the rest of them, all you've got to do is uncraft the blocks of copper into copper ingots, and then find yourself a crafting table. Oh no, I can't find one. It will take me so long. Except here we go. Now I can make the copper doors or the copper grates, and then I can just oxidize them from there. Admittedly, that probably is the longest part of the process in this update, is actually waiting for these things to slowly but surely turn into new stuff. But yeah, if I want to get every single 1.21 block, it sadly wouldn't be a long video. It would be something more like this. And now, after building what must be the world's ugliest numbers ever made in Minecraft, I have my 1.21 block collection. Wait, it's missing all the blocks. I think you need more than 3. So let's fill those in. One of the things that always makes me feel craziest is the fact that I have to place down 4 copies of a block and then just hope that 3 of them age out. But that is indeed what you have to do. But here we go. We've got the new copper. We've got the new tough. We've got all the fun varieties of both. Asterisk, don't question the varieties of copper just yet. Just give them like 12 hours and we'll be fine. But here's an interesting thing that you might question. Actually, surely there are other blocks in 1.21 besides copper and tough, and there are. There is the Vault and the Trowel Spawner, neither of which I could move here. I could probably represent them with something if I felt like it. Let's do that. But then also there is the Crafter, and the Crafter is, I guess, the only real movable block, because the only other one that we can actually move with us is the Heavy Core, and the Heavy Core is arguably not a block, but also arguably not appropriate to put here anyway. So 1.21, we've done and completed it all. And it looks kind of weird, honestly. It looks like this guy is trying to keep these two teams apart because they're very different. But Copper versus Tough, which block set is better in this update, I guess is the big question. And the answer from the crafter is, I don't care, I'm just here to help you get a new achievement, because that is the other thing you have to do in an update. And just by accident, while gathering all of these items, I've already gotten 2 of the new achievements. If you ever want to see which achievements you have, you just slide into here. And as you can see in my completed list is, use a wind charge to launch yourself up 8 blocks, which you'll just do by accident when using it enough, and unlocking an ominous vault with the ominous trowel key. But that still means there are 2 more achievements that I need, at least from this update. One of these is interesting because it really sounds like it should be from this update, by the way. Acquiring a map from a cartographer villager, then entering the revealed structure. This tells me that Minecraft didn't update old achievements, and so therefore wax on, wax off isn't any easier or harder. But yeah, I think that's interesting. What I also think is interesting is the fact that there are 2 brand new enchantments, and they're mixed into the rest of these. They are deal 50 hearts of damage with a single hit using the mace, and be near a crafter when it crafts a crafter. And so, after learning that you can't craft droppers by using cobbled deep slate, as little sense as that makes, here we go. This is me crafting a crafter from a crafter. Very fun. Although that wasn't very satisfying, was it? And so, since I've been playing a lot more on my Xbox Series X anyway, here is me crafting another crafter, and hopefully getting the dividends from it. I'll give the crafter a nice hat in the meantime. I'm sure he appreciates that. It is a very solid looking fez, isn't it? This messes with my achievement. I'm gonna be upset. Oh, it does! Well, crafters crafting crafters. 0.03% of Minecraft players have achieved that. And also I can't save data for this game or app. But that's not important. It's fine, you don't need to, it's fine. The other enchantment is going to be a little bit more questionable because getting 50 damage with a mace is fairly easy to do, but having a target which can take 50 damage is a little bit harder. So does the 50 damage have to be actually all dealt, or can it just be that theoretically if the target could take it, then it would? This is the question which I don't know the answer to, and I'm going to find it out purely by fun. So we're going to find a sheep or a pig or whichever non-threatening mob spawns first. In fact, actually, here's how I guarantee this works. I have a whole pen of cows, right? What if I just fly into the sky and then land deliberately on whichever cow I can, and we'll treat that one as our mega density hit? It might hurt a lot of the other cows, but it's going to be so fun that who can resist? So let's go... Okay, that did not work. Okay, I'll try that one again. Okay, so to avoid using the Elytra again, okay, I had to do it. Okay, that was pretty big. Was it big enough, though? I have no way of actually knowing. I probably shouldn't have hurt my cows that bad. I'm sorry, friends. Oh, that was actually enough. Overkill. I was expecting to have to go to the Nether to do that, but 50 damage of 50 hearts of damage with a single hit has been achieved, and apparently only one in, is that 5,000 Minecraft players have done the same? Absolutely wild. Obviously, that's because a new update just came out, but if you want to get all the achievements, I would totally recommend it. It's a fun way to get the variety of an update. I think 4 for 1.21 is a little bit weak, but you've got a lot of other achievements you can go back and finish. Like me, if you switch between multiple platforms, you might actually find that, oh yeah, now going and doing wax on, wax off might be fun, or all of these other fun ones, such as going and getting all of the smithing templates, but again, and so it's up to me what I decide to do. But I like that I've got some choices. It's fun because if you wanted to, really badly, let's say you had a vendetta against a mob, if you really wanted to, you could combine the wind charge effect with the 50 blocks of full damage, and let's say you're really annoyed by a magma cube that just won't go away, well, you could actually use this as the perfect opportunity. Actually, he looks like he's trapped in there now, so maybe we don't need to worry. Okay. This is the perfect opportunity, I tell you. The perfect opportunity. Okay, just gotta bounce. This is the perfect opportunity for whatever the heck that was. Nice. I've actually had a fair few questions asking me if I'm going to be switching to playing the Xbox Series X permanently, now that they've upgraded it quite a substantial amount, and honestly, I do think it's very handy, especially for things like streams, because unlike when you play Minecraft on a PC, your stream or video won't lag when you switch dimensions, which is very handy for someone who makes content. However, the inability to switch between input methods as easily as I do on my PC is something that might hold me back a little bit. You know, at this point, I used to have a keyboard that I attached to my controller. I don't know that that would work on my current one, or if I can find exactly where it is. But yeah, I feel like if you can make a console experience just as good as that of PC, but going from PC back to console will lead to me losing a few things, such as easy access to add-ons and RTX and all that stuff. And so I've got to balance whether that's worth it. And the answer is maybe. I'll have to work it out. I'll be definitely playing more Xbox Series X over the coming week or so, and I'll kind of work out a decision and let you know when I do, because I'm sure a lot of you playing console are curious if the Series X is anywhere near as good as the Windows 10 version of Minecraft, as it definitely should be. But yeah, for now, let's put our crafters away and move on to our next objective today. And I think it would be fair to say that this is both the most important of all of my objectives, but also the most vague and confusing if you don't know what I'm talking about. So tricky trializing the world, or 1.21izing, whichever one you think sounds better, is something that's going to be very important, and I'm going to start by doing the pack.png, but in a slightly more appropriate place. I think on that wall it didn't make any sense because you could see the house didn't go that way, but on this side there might genuinely be some real world out there, so I'm going to dig a 4x4 area that's going to go a little bit closer to eye level, and maybe that'll make it look that just tiny bit a little nicer. Also, we'll probably have to go ahead and remove these and replace them with stone, but the goal here is to use this fun effect, which I first actually saw on Reddit. It came from this user, and I thought it was a really fun little technique, and by itself I would have just assumed they came up with it. However, then I randomly got recommended this YouTube video that didn't have that many views, but it was using the exact same technique, but it was a few days earlier. I don't know if that means that this person came up with it, but I do want to credit this technique because it is one of my favorite things I've ever found, and here is a tutorial on how to do it. You want to place in the bottom left, I guess like one away from the bottom left, of a 4x4 area, and you want to just keep on breaking and replacing until you get pack.png. One of the big problems, which is what we call this image right here, one of the big problems with the number of paintings Minecraft has added is actually finding each of the new ones is a lot harder now. I don't know if there's going to be an easy way to solve that in the long-term future, but for now we're going to add 4 pieces of glass. I think glass panes work a lot better, so that's what we'll be using right in front of it, and that will allow us to have the view to the outside world that looks like it comes through a window. I do think the one issue with this, besides, you know, the silliness of it being maybe one of the more recognizable paintings, I think one of the problems with this is you probably want it to be a little bit more outset and further away from you, and also this redstone repeater might be ruining the vibes here a tiny bit more. If you're curious, this is every day I think I was meant to put a piece of paper in here, and then every now and then it would just break itself. I decided not to continue that anymore, so I could just break this pot and then remove the wall, and I think, honestly, I'll do that. But I'll leave the redstone here otherwise, just to confuse future me, because that's my favourite thing to do in this world. I'll also leave that there. You know what? Yep, future me is not going to know why there's a redstone repeater there, but I'll remember that I did something, and it'll slowly, the memory will fade until I question what I even want it for, and I'll break it, and the piston will confuse me even more. Perfect. And so yeah, pack.png makes this perfect window. I wanted to reference that, but also reference the proper credit if I could find it, and if you came up with that idea yourself, I'd love to hear from you. But what I'd also love to hear about are things like my bamboo farm, where I think, honestly, a crafter would be necessary, because it piles up with so much bamboo that can't fit into these chests, and I don't really want bamboo by itself anyway, right? I want bamboo to be turned into bamboo blocks, where it's actually useful to me, and so I make big old blocks of bamboos over here. But what if we could do this automatically? It sure would be handy if there was some form of item that could automatically craft the bamboo into blocks of bamboo, but as best I can tell, there just isn't one, so we're going to grab our blocks of bamboo, and we're going to go make some paintings in my museum. Of course, taking a moment on the way to update my map of my nether, because now I need to let me know where all my trial chambers are. This is where all my maps point to, at the very least. my functional maps, and then also my destroy trial chamber, which is still being worked on. It's going pretty well at present, in case you're curious. I would say I'm about 70% of the way through destroying it, and as soon as I can get to the right block, there we go, I can put my oxidized copper there to show that the trial chamber has aged just a little. Oh, no, let's get that better. I want to show that the trial chamber has aged, and by aged I mean died, which is what happens as the inevitable aging process completes, right? And so that is the perfect way to show a destroyed trial chamber versus the current and fresh ones, some of which still have copper and tough inside of them. This one won't be very long. I'm enjoying that project a lot, by the way, in case you're curious. While I work on these, things, I always like to have, like, a big project going in the background. It's one of the big things that keeps me motivated, is having stuff that I'm enjoying doing on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, but also knowing there's something big and exciting, which is, in a way, something weird that is warped about it is, because of these videos, I sometimes hope, like, I sometimes need that thing to be exciting to other people, too. That's probably a negative effect of having done this on the internet for so long. It is an exhaustingly big project, but sometimes I feel like that is one of the things that makes me most motivated to play Minecraft, knowing that I can find something fun that will keep me occupied from hour to hour or day to day, but also knowing I've got something big to sink my teeth into whenever I need it, and something weird that I would say, maybe this is a particular part of the parasocial bond that has developed for this channel, but I also feel like I need to know that it's something that other people are interested in too, like the viewers as well. Like knowing that there's something that people are excited to see from me gives me a weird motivation in its own right. In a way that probably is damaging because, like if I really, really love a project and then maybe everyone else doesn't, it goes poorly. But speaking of the same thing, I made a museum in my world. Everyone loves the build. I made this beautiful brick, cobblestone, birch, and log build that is, it's received awards from numerous building award ceremonies that definitely exist. However, one of the things that's inside my museum is an art gallery. I collected every single painting in Minecraft, but then, you know what those crazy bastards did? They decided to add 20 more paintings, and I obviously can't fit them on my ground floor, and so I built this very lazy version of an upper decking, which is going to house the rest. And so now, as soon as I fill in these torch caps with actual wood, I'll be able to put on new paintings like this one. I'm like 80% sure that's new, or like, not that one, I'm 99% sure that's not, and so the plan is to do precisely that. There's a lot of very big paintings, but we'll start, just as I did on the previous floor, with the very small ones. So, making a small painting in Minecraft is hard, I think. You have to, like, deliberately stop it from being able to grow, but we should be able to do that with torches, without messing with the mining fatigue, which I have from my Elder Garden over there. But we place a painting there, and now we can guarantee it's size 2. So maybe if we place that there, we guarantee it's size 1, until we find the new one. So in case anyone else also wants all the paintings, the way I'm doing this is I've just got a big image of all of the paintings, and I'm working out based on that, and then that combined in my memory of all the update videos should get us through to something good. So we're looking for the red rose painting, which, again, I'm telling you, like, new paintings must be rarer than old ones. There we go, just found it. And then we're going to try and get the horse painting. Although, actually, should we start over there? Yeah, starting there feels a bit weird. I feel like we were meant to start there. So let's just try that one again. Ah, perfect, first time. Then let's remove this torch, and let's go for the man riding a horse painting. It's meant to be some iconic American photo. I don't know it at all, but that's the one right there. And then we're going to go for a 2x2, which, funnily enough, this is a brand new one too. And then we'll go for the other 2x2, which is the villagers in the style of American Gothic. This is a lovely big painting, but I really cannot show... I can't tell you enough times that I do not want it. I want to have some villagers looking very forlornly into the distance. Then, to go any further, we're probably going to have to get some more oak planks, and also work out what we're doing with the general floor plan of this. So, is it building time again? It looks like it might be. 6,276 days. A fun fact, by the way, is when the day plays counter was first added, with the launch of 1.21, my days played was like 6146, which means I played Minecraft 1.21 for over 100 days. And so at this point, I could make a grand point about how, oh yeah, what do you do with 100 days of Minecraft under your belt? And, honestly, rather than trying to pretend that time played is the most important metric, I do understand there is a title appeal to 1.21 that will never go away. I think what's more important is to say, yeah, actually, after going through trial chambers enough times, you do start to pick up some things, and so I'd rather share the knowledge as it actually is, rather than pretending the time put into something actually makes me better. Because I'll be honest, there are probably people who have played fewer than 6,000 days who know more about Minecraft survival than me, and there are people who probably have played 10 times more Minecraft days who might know less. That's the fun of knowledge, isn't it? I think games like Minecraft have their rewards intrinsically. You kind of get to decide when you've improved and if you've improved and if you even want to improve, which is some of the joy. Okay, that was too much editing for the Let's Play. Now let's work on the 4x2 paintings. These are so wide that they actually wouldn't fit in this gap more than twice over, while still keeping my one painting minimum. And so what I'm going to do instead is place them right here. I've got a perfectly wide area where we could appreciate the paintings, but also where they wouldn't take up too much space. And so, torch underneath, place a painting, and that is one of the new ones, but slightly too far left. I think we want to have some spacing. This is also one of the new ones, a very, very weird new one if we're being honest, and so is this one. Honestly, it's kind of beautiful, the pixel art that makes you question what is behind the pixel art. Is it meant to be that way? Is it not? The only one who knows is someone who very much could tell us, but much prefers not doing so. So then finally we place... Okay, this isn't correct. I guess the fence... Can you not place a fence? Wait. Whoa. Do you hear that? I have found a bug. Are you not meant to be able to place paintings above fences? Huh. Why does it make that noise? Oh, it makes it anywhere there's a block, huh? Okay, well, there goes my genius idea. I guess we'll place the other two on that wall there. And then on this one, we'll have one of the giant 3x3s. I think we could get a couple of 3x3s in here. So is that big enough? No. Is that big enough? That's 3x4, I want to say. So how can we prevent it being 3x4? By placing a torch there. But that doesn't solve my problem. I guess by just moving my thing one block to the right. There we go. That is a new painting. It's got the glistening melon and enchanted apple. And then we'll place another one just over here. That's pack.png. It's beautiful. I love it. But this is what we're looking for. And I think this is a new one, right? But it's 4x3. But you know, it's fine. It looks like this one's deliberately trying to duck underneath the rail, which took in the Elder Guardian. So actually, I kind of like that. I think there is another 4x3 that we've got to find. So clearly I'm wrong. Oh, there we go. And then we've just got to deal with the 4x4s and the other 4x2s. Hopefully we have enough space. I'm actually starting to doubt that right now. So 9 paintings left to go, and definitely not enough space for 9 paintings is the name of the game. But there we go. Is that a new one? Yes, it is. And then maybe one more over here. Let's just ignore the Elder Guardian. You're a hater, is what you are. That's what you call people who say things you don't like nowadays. There we go. The weird moose stuck through an iron door while there's a skeleton on the other side of the iron door trying to go to the new 4th dimension. And so yeah, we could fit another painting here, I think, but it probably wouldn't be appropriate. I think we want to have a big centerpiece for the last few paintings, which will be up here. And I guess these will be extra visible from the floor below, so let's make these ones count. So from the remaining paintings, most of these are 3x3, but there's 2 4x4s, and I'll start with those if we can. That was one of them just there. Very, very nice. And then we'll place another one just over here. So 9 blocks is not enough to make this one work, so we'll have to grab some more. Fortunately, there's a bunch of oak planks just lying around, and it's very easy to mine those right now. But yeah, once I've got this 4x4 up as well, which is a little bit easier said than done. Honestly, you know, actually, I've got enough... Who's ever going to know that these are slabs instead of real blocks? Hopefully not the painting. And so then we can put pack.png perfectly over here. This is not pack.png. This is pack.png. And then we'll have the other 6 paintings all go in the middle. That can't be right. There's not 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, there's 7 more. Oh, there's a lot of new paintings. Since I was restocking on supplies anyway, I figured now might be a good time to teach you exactly how to get the right type of painting, since I've learned from trial and error. It seems as though Minecraft paintings mostly care about what's to the right and what's above something, and so this space right here, even though it theoretically can make a 2x2, if I only place my block there, will only ever give me a 1x1. And so if I want to make a 2x2, I have to place it in the bottom left block, and then it'll be limited by these things over here, guaranteeing that I get a 2x2. If you want a 1x2, you place on the bottom of the blocks, But also, confusingly, if you want a 1x2 to the right there, you can place it there. Do you see how interesting it is? That sometimes you get 1x2s and sometimes 2x1s. So those two are slightly confusing in that way. With 3x3s, you want to place on the center block, so make sure you cordon off the fourth block up and the fourth block to the right, and then place on what would be the middle of your 3x3, guaranteed every single time. Very, very handy. If you want to have a 3x4, then you want to make sure that there's 4 blocks above you, but the exact same thing. What would be the center of a 3x3, but with that 4th block spare. If there is space for a 3x4, you will get a 3x4 and not a 3x3, which is handy enough as a system, but something you need to keep in mind now we have new paintings. And then finally, with 4x2s, you need to make sure that the painting can't go any wider, but the second block of the bottom row all the way on the left. So all the way there, as you can see. I don't know why this one wouldn't give me a 3x3 instead, for example, or I guess that's because there's no blocks below it. There I would get a 4x4, there I would get a 4x2. That seems logical if you follow that logic with me. And then finally, for a 4x4, it is the exact same, but second row from the bottom, second column. If you have an infinitely sized space, this is the biggest painting Minecraft can give you, and so if you place it kind of, again, diagonally up from it, you will always get that biggest of paintings, unless you don't want it, in which case you can guarantee smaller. Boom! That's how you do it. Hopefully that was useful. Every single painting and how to get it. And so, to get the last of these 3x3 paintings, which I am desperately missing, we're going to need to make sure that there is only space for a 3x3, and then place in the middle of it, while also making sure nothing can be above. So let's grab our torches, which will stay nicely here, and let's place a 3x3. Oh, this is a weird and interesting one. And then do the same over here, and apparently get the same painting. And then we'll do the same over here. It's gonna be wonderful. And that leaves us with enough space to have already just left a gap between each of these paintings. So maybe I should just do that instead, actually. Okay, it's been a bit of a struggle, but this is my new gallery, minus 3 paintings, and there is a little bit of a space for these 3 paintings. I just don't love that it's on the first floor where all of these other ones are, but I think this is the logical place for it, and so a 3x3 painting nicely goes right there, assuming it's not one I already have. I'm pretty sure it isn't. And another 3x3 painting can go right over here, if I just remove this top block. Nice and simple. This is not a new one. I've already got that on the walls. This one I'm pretty sure I already have on the walls. It's one of my centerpieces, in fact. I love this one. It's like a ferret in a bread bin or something. I love this one too, but I think I put this one up already. Oh, no, actually, looks like I didn't. So now we have just one painting left to get, and this is where it's very, very crucial to know exactly what paintings are in Minecraft. But you better believe I'm still winging it. Is it this one? Yes, it was. But also, I did have a copy of that gunpowder one already, so this was not correct either. Was it that one? No. Okay, I think it involves a staircase on the left. Oh, there we go. This is the one. This is the staircase painting, which now means that if you just ignore that it's split over 2 levels, I now have every painting in the game, plus every painting from 1.21. So, a part of 1.21izing my world is then also to acknowledge that I have every trim in Minecraft, but this no longer is every single trim. There are 2 more I've got to add, but at the same time, I don't know where you would properly fit them. I feel like in the middle is a good bet, and that kind of makes some sense. But then I think, why would all the other, why would all the other trims be guarding these 2? And so something else has to be done. And that's going to involve going to my armory and not just crafting myself some armor stands. One of the weirdest recipes in Minecraft, by the way, always has to be said. But also where I'm going to have to use my smithing table combined with the new templates that I got from all of the vaults I went to. Fun fact, I've been collecting every single 1.21 item, and I've been fairly successful. I got the rare float armor trim 6 times, which is great. That means that I can put 1 in my armor trim collection chest over here. Over here? Over here. I have an armor trim collection chest somewhere. I'm guessing it's in the museum now that I think about it. And so I get 1 to spare there, 1 to keep for other reasons, and then 4 to apply to a full set of armor. So I have exactly 48 iron ingots, which is enough to make 2 helmets, 2 chest plates. I really hope I'm right about this. 2 chest plates. 2 leggings, I'm fairly sure, and 2 pairs of boots. Okay, I got that right. I had to dump my inventory on the ground here. But now I can take all of these items, throw them into the smithing table with my newfound trim, and I'll get a slightly nicer looking one, right? So, copper plus flow trim equals this lovely helmet. Copper plus flow trim equals this lovely chest plate. copper plus, you get the point at this point. But yeah, I'm going to make a full set of flow armor. And then the slightly a trickier problem comes from what I have with the less valuable one, the bolt armor. So this is found from regular vaults, but I've opened way fewer regular vaults than ominous vaults because I just wasn't really bothering to, which has left me with a little bit of a pickle because I can do it on the first 3 sets just fine, no issues. But then if I do it on the last pair of leggings, I'll use up this trim. Sure, at some point I'll probably restock that, but I think now I have to do something quite questionable and go and find myself some diamonds. Actually, wait. I bet I have some diamonds lying around here somewhere. If I don't, they're in my my ender chest. I'm going to have to go and get some diamonds and use 7 of them just to duplicate this. Which seems expensive because it honestly is far too expensive. But let's, for the first time ever, duplicate a trim that we don't really even want and could easily get, just in case we couldn't. So we need a block of copper in the middle of this one, which is fun. And I think I let, this is why it's so nice when you collect all the items and it's so all so close together. But if I'm not mistaken, just over here, I store precisely that. Let's see though. So yeah, here's every single item from 1.14 and beyond. Here's 1.21, and in this chest, while dumping my inventory earlier, I left exactly what I didn't. I left some ingots. I was intending to leave exactly what I wanted, but apparently I wasn't lazy enough and I actually took it all the way home, which sucks. Oh, perfect! There's one in here. Oh yes, that's valuable. That's old copper too. That's got some extra value in it. So here comes Minecraft's most expensive recipe: 1 bolt trim, 1 block of copper, and 7 diamonds just to make 2 bolt trims. But it's the easiest way, and it's a good use of diamonds when you use them mostly as decorative blocks to make enchantment table trees and jukebox stuff. Because honestly, if you, like I mentioned before, diamonds, once you play in Minecraft for long enough, are only useful for making diamond blocks, which make you just look like a cheater or a hacker or whatever. They're useful for diamond blocks, which is fun fact, which is why I use them in my lovely diamond sword here, and no one even notices. It might as well just be ugly concrete in this case, or you can use them for enchantment tables or jukeboxes. I've used them for the first 2 things, and I've been trying to work out what I could do with hundreds of jukeboxes, and the answer is there's just not very much exciting going on. But what is exciting is me coming back to this table and finally being able to make a pair of bolt leggings with the copper. Nice. Now I just have to make sure I keep these 2 separated because they look quite similar. And now we can finally celebrate the ability to make it look like we have some patrons in our gallery that are just enjoying this upper floor, which would be perfect for where they came from and before. Anyway, there. We can see. This is the flow armor set. Honestly, I'm not that big of a fan. Let's compare it to Bolt. I kind of feel like Silence is so good that when you see any other set by comparison, it's like, meh. But between these 2, I would have to say, I kind of like Bolt a bit more. The rigid lines fits Minecraft a bit better, but maybe you like this instead. The kind of flowiness would go well with wind charges. But I don't even think either of these sets are in my top 3 necessarily. I love the eye trim. I love Silence trim for the flex that comes with it. And I kind of like this trim as well. I hope this one isn't eye, because that'll make it embarrassing. The June armor trim. So yeah, June, eye, maybe even this one too, would all come up as favorites. But as far as number 5 and 6 go, that's these pair over this pair over here. And yeah, I kind of like the contrast it adds to my gallery. Maybe you do too. Or maybe you hate it, honestly, it's up to you. But what is important and is up to me is collecting every single item. So, like I mentioned, I've gathered every single item from inside of this update, but also sort of not. Here's the deal. My biggest challenge is collecting every single 1.21 item. It's something I did for previous updates before, and it's not that impossible to do, except for 1.20, where they added so many pottery shards that even with the ridiculous number of trail ruins I've been to, I can't tell you for sure that I've actually got them all. In fact, I know for a fact I haven't. And so with 1.21, I've gathered every single item, but with 2 asterisks. One of those is, of course, the enchantments. I don't have every single enchanted book for this update yet. For 1, I don't actually have a place to store them yet. And for 2, I'm glad that the librarian's enjoying my Bane of Arthropods collection, though. Isn't it nice? A full set, I think you'll find. But yeah, for 1, I don't have a place to put them yet. I'm going to have to move all of these round to make space for breach and density, and then for wind burst eventually, which I'll have to get in lots of pairs. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. But the second is the fact that I just don't have any wind bursts at all because it's such a rare enchantment being found in 1.35% of Ominous Vaults that I'm going to wait for them to fix it. This is a weird decision to make, and I know it's a bold claim for me to take of just saying I'm not going to get one of 1.21's features till later, but if they match the odds with Java, your odds of getting it are going to go up almost 4 times, and so why would you explore 4 times more of your world now to get an enchantment that isn't even that good? And so to get the last enchantment, I would say, I don't need to have a full collection, and if I did, I'm going to be waiting to say that I've truly done that. But there's also one other item I'm missing. If you look at my set here, you'll see I've got all the banner patterns, and we can add this to my collection and all that stuff. It's wonderful. But also, bizarrely enough, I'm missing Bad Omen 4. I've got Bad Omen 1, Bad Omen 2, Bad Omen 3, and even a Bad Omen 5. But I never got a Bad Omen 4 bottle, despite the number of times that I've got these, and so I can't truly say that I've 100% of this update, even with those caveats. And so let's remove those caveats. Let's say that if I want to get every single 1.21 item, that's not just the banner patterns, that's not just all the armor trims and the heavy core and, making yourself some maces. I think what it also is to say that you need to have all of the Bad Omen bottles and to have all of the enchantments, and that means that I'm going to have to require every single level of breach, every level of density, and every level of windburst, and so that is my big goal for after 1.21.10. Sadly for right now, we'll be enjoying just my density 4 mace, but soon, I tell you, big things will be happening. But if you want to do it right now, if you want to flex that you could do it even when it's 4 times harder, I would love to see if you've done so. Either share that you've done it via here, or I guess actually on YouTube you can't. So you could share it via the IBX Toycat subreddit, or you could tweet it to me at IBX Toycat. I would love to know how your 1.21 journeys have gone. Hopefully, if you're looking for inspiration, this video helped you somewhat with that. And if you weren't looking for inspiration, then hopefully this video didn't give you any, and therefore that makes you satisfied. But yeah, speaking of satisfied, I hope that you have had a wonderful time today. I have been far too hot the entire time. There's a heat wave in the UK, and I know it's one of those, like, heat waves, but in air quotes. But, yeah, so I've been running the AC the entire video. It's very, very loud to me, but hopefully you haven't noticed. Even if you did notice, leave a comment saying, I didn't notice, so I feel like, wow, I guess I can just leave that on and not be horrifically uncomfortable for future videos. Because it's not even working well enough. Like, I'm still hotter than I would be on a normal day. Just, whatever. Anyway, that said, thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And join me next time for more complaints about weather in the UK. Or you can join me for a stream tomorrow where I'll be destroying a trial chamber as part of my next big project. Thank you for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Hope that was working. Oh, yeah, it was recording. That's great.